about to show you our plan. Ironically, our plan is nothing amazing. It lays out the basics of what should and will be going on all the time within our state party. But currently, none of these obvious basics are being implemented. We're going to restore the party coffers with a solid, comprehensive fundraising strategy, bring the party up to speed with essential statewide activities, and grow the party, building a new sense of camaraderie. And while this covers a portion of what we'll do, it's only a small part of what we'll accomplish in the next 12 months. The next 2 years will be great for New Mexico Republicans if we immediately begin to redevelop our core infrastructure. We're here for the party, and we're ready to move forward with this plan. Let's discuss fundraising, or the process of gathering contributions. Funding is the most critical resource for any campaign. The fundraising activities that we are about to discuss are activities that all campaigns have to do, and which our state party will be doing all the time. These are our campaigners, and we're going to follow them through the whole process. What does a successful fundraiser do? As our new state party chair, X will always be fundraising. He will apply a direct approach, which means he'll have to actually ask for contributions. But first, he will make a fundraising plan. And following the plan means being specific about what the party needs, asking for contributions more than once, and using a diverse range of fundraising tools. It means getting donors to feel a sense of urgency, and researching options for contributors and donations. Knowing the laws regarding fundraising is extremely important as well. Our party will always be appreciative of our donors, and we will make our own contribution to the cause. Flattery is always a great way to show donor appreciation. We will use proven fundraising methods, and we will seek the sage advice of others. These are all the nuances and subtleties of fundraising. But now, let's look at the 6 ways our party will take the lead in fundraising. We are going to use direct mail and host events. We will gather the support of other political organizations. We'll definitely put the internet to use. And build our finance committee. And we will reach out and personally solicit donors. Remember, all of these methods will reinforce the effectiveness of the others. Let's start by looking at how our state chairman will personally solicit donations. He will always be reaching out personally to potential donors and asking for contributions. The chair will be asking for donations from industry leaders. He'll appeal to each donor's successes and financial prowess. And each donor will respond as a leader for his own cause. Donors realize that their donations serve their own future as well as the party's. There is also the opportunity for the industry leader to pull donations from his or her industry fellows. This is a great technique, and we will always recognize the personal effort of donors and their fellows.
Thanks.
So, let's move on to our next fundraising method. We'll be forming our finance committee, a group of concerned Republicans who enjoy fundraising. First, we will ask, what qualities make the ideal finance chairperson for the committee? The finance chair will be dynamic and aggressive. In addition to this, the chair will execute required duties, like checking in often with contributing members of the committee. A good finance chair will understand the segments of their donor universe. In other words, they will know the demographics of their donors. They will also make sure their committee members have good talking points. It is important to communicate certain financial goals with committee members. Finally, our finance chair will manage the time spent on fundraising to keep the operation efficient. Now that you know the duties and qualities of the finance chair, we'll show you the criteria we'll use to develop the finance committee. They will be chosen by occupation. Teachers, doctors, contractors, financial consultants, and lawyers are all examples of committee members, but they can be anyone interested in networking for the party. Some members will be asked to join the committee based on geographical region. and some members will be added because they're interested in specific issues. That concludes our focus on the Finance Committee. Now, let's look at how we will use the Internet to our advantage. First, the Internet is an inexpensive resource. It's been proven to bring in more money from younger donors. And finally, the Internet has yielded greater success over time as it's been used for fundraising more and more every year. Just like with other types of fundraising, we will start off our operation with a solid plan. We'll form email lists. We know not to burn out or ignore these lists by using them too much or too little. Creative subject lines always increase the viral potential of Internet media. These emails drive donors to our website, where they will contribute if the process is made easy for them. And our donate button will always work. We will offer premiums to inspire donors to contribute even more. The Internet will also support other fundraising opportunities. We'll be making use of search engine technology. And we'll have plenty of videos on our website to grab donors' attention. And always remember, when we ask for more, we will get more. Next, we'll be reaching out to other political organizations. Let's look at what these are. Political action committees, or PACs, are the arms of other political organizations. We can usually tell which PACs will be likely to help us, but new PACs are always being formed. So, we'll be searching for new PACs as well as following up with existing PACs regularly. If we know what kind of interests a PAC has, we can find out if they'll donate to the party. We'll be reaching out to PACs with a PAC kit. This will include all the information a PAC will want to know about the party, including a staff bio, party profile, calendar of events, history, and of course a cover letter, to let the PAC know that our party is the kind of organization they usually contribute to. Our fifth fundraising method is the use of events. We'll be putting a lot of consideration into planning our events. If we plan well, we will raise a lot of money in very little time. But events have to be something truly special. We'll use them to gain mass media attention. Ooh. And to grant awards to Republicans who are particularly devoted to the cause. We'll use events to announce important news. Events are also an opportunity to gather more contributors. Here are a few details. We'll be planning on a budget. We'll invite donors from all kinds of groups. Our volunteers will staff these events. And since we plan way in advance, we'll have great venues and some very inspiring speakers. Finally, many of our events will have tiered registration to maximize potential donations. We won't just be promoting events beforehand, we'll note their success afterward in the media. Direct mail is our final fundraising method. Funds raised from direct mail can be considered the bread and butter of our operation. Mail will increase our visibility and support. Our donor base will increase through prospecting. And we'll be mailing this base about every 30 to 45 days to, again, maintain our visibility and support. We always keep good donor records so that we can gauge our donor interest. Whenever possible, we'll be asking donors to upgrade their donation. The ingredients of any good direct mail piece we put out will be a strong topic, something that will catch our donors' attention and motivate them. It will have a solid theme that appeals to our lists of both prospects and suspects. The appearance of a piece should reinforce the theme. We always use the best techniques for mailings in order to save money. And we time the arrival of our mail to reinforce our other fundraising tactics. Do not forget the signature. The type of direct mail we send will depend on who we'll be mailing to. One group is our house file. These are current donors. Another group are the prospects, which are people who have donated in the past but aren't currently active. And finally, the suspects are a group of people with no record of donation. And there you have it. These are all the types of fundraising we'll be doing to keep our state party and county parties funded and open. Candidate recruitment and training. The first of which is recruiting our candidates, and the second is helping them to understand the ins and outs of campaigning. When recruiting, we will begin by identifying our viable candidates from a group of contenders. Next, we will vet candidates through a uniform process. This means checking to make sure they have what it takes to run for office. There are many factors involved in figuring out whether or not a candidate is viable. For example, political environment and the ability to raise money for their own campaign. A good example of a non-viable candidate would be Democrat Gary King. And just a footnote, the party will be recruiting candidates, but if we have more than one running for the same spot, we can't be biased. We'll always be advising our candidates. It's important to honestly discuss their chances of winning based on a myriad of factors. We'll let them know their most likely sources of funding, and give them voter data showing them how to target voters based on demographics and geography. Candidates also need to know about the political environment specific to their district. Now, let's back up and look at some of the ways we will train our candidate. All candidates will have the same level of training available to them. If it's necessary, we'll send the candidates to the RNC. But the party will mainly be holding classes here in New Mexico, and we'll be running training sessions all around the state. When it comes to training and recruiting, these are just basic examples, but we have a lot to offer. Communication. In politics, communication is everything. It's a fundamental part of our party activity that we will use to build the party from within and allow us to expand outward. Our plan starts with internal communications. We will be maintaining a constant stream of dialogue with members of the State Central Committee. Next, we will expand our communication out from that network to the county parties and their county central committees. And finally, we will spread out and communicate with all registered Republican voters. It's a straightforward process that keeps all members of the party involved and active. And not surprisingly, the external process of communication is no different. We will start with mobilization of the Republican base. Next, we'll move into contacting independent voters who we will attempt to persuade to support our cause. And finally, in order to expand further, we will invoke a process of Democrat conversion. This is what happens when those Democrat voters that always vote for Republican candidates change their registration to Republican. The main tool we'll be using is called Strategic Demographic Outreach, which is the practice of reaching out to very focused portions of various communities. We'll always be conducting youth outreach for the purpose of future party building. If our party is to strengthen, we must grow. County parties. The RPNM is a state party, and it's broken up into a group of 33 individual county parties. Our state party will be acting like a catalyst, kickstarting our county parties and providing them with some resources to get them off the ground. We will train the county parties to use resources and strategies in the same way that the state party uses them, just on a smaller scale. County parties usually have access to very little funding, so we'll be training them to utilize their own fundraising capabilities. Each county must be fundraising to remain self-sufficient. Our state party will help pay to kickstart county party fundraising, but it will not pay for operating costs. In other words, the state party will help each county party fundraise to cover its own operating expenses. All this activity is essential for dealing with the county party office situation. In many counties, the party office is only rented for 2 months every 2 years, so party members and candidates have a meeting place to coordinate from. When we implement our plan, county offices will be rented or even owned, and they will be open year-round. That way, when we're communicating with the SCC, the county parties, Republican voters, and even persuading independents and Democrats, every county will have a focal point for productive activity. Just like we'll be recruiting and training candidates, we'll also mobilize political consultants like campaign managers, field coordinators, and regional directors, but not without some organization. There will be an identification phase where we seek out consultants, and then we'll assess them to understand their skill set. Consultants will be trained and will clearly understand how to accomplish the goals their position is intended to achieve. And finally, we'll strategically place our consultants in the political environments where they'll be most effective. For example, if TJ just graduated with his degree in political science, we'll train him to perform on campaigns, a skill which isn't taught in our universities. Since TJ went to UNM, we'll post him as a field coordinator for Bernalillo or Valencia counties. And once TJ gains enough experience with local campaigns, he can move up to work on statewide or federal campaigns. This training is essential because it keeps us from having to hire expensive staff from outside of New Mexico, who will just leave the state after their job is finished. Campaigns. Once we've laid out the groundwork for a new Republican Party of New Mexico and a functional county party structure, we can begin to focus on getting candidates elected. Here are some items we'll be helping candidates with during their campaigns. Every campaign will be a coordinated effort of candidates, consultants, and volunteers working within a greater political environment to get Republicans elected. Just like donors contribute money, volunteers contribute their time. We will help you identify and mobilize these volunteers. We'll be helping with advanced campaign tactics like the use of data and targeting, which most campaigns don't normally have access to and is critical for persuading independent voters. We have a proven method for figuring out which independent voters to send to the polls. For example, a married person who is a member of the NRA, lives in a rural area, and votes absentee most likely supports Republicans, while a person under 40 who gardens, rides a bike, and plays video games is likely to vote for Democrats. When dealing with independent voters we can't contact directly, this is the best method we have for finding out which way they lean. In addition to helping with volunteer recruitment and targeting tactics, our state party will be assisting with all manner of campaign items. For example, get out the vote activities, data sharing, polling, hardware, signature gathering, and many more. This is our plan for a more Republican New Mexico. We hope you agree that we have a solid plan for our state party. If we implement these practiced and practical techniques and strategies, you'll find that political success in New Mexico will come faster and easier. Thanks so much for watching our presentation. Again, this is just a review of the basic activities we'll use to rebuild the Republican Party of New Mexico and to make it competitive. We're going to immediately build our organization, reinforce operations, and swell our ranks, so we'll be ready for 2016 and for an even bigger 2018. Just remember, we're here to help. We're here for the party.